This is 1 cup of chickpea flour or besan. This is 2 tablespoons of fine rava or semolina. This is 1 tablespoon of ginger and green chili paste. This is 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, some salt to taste, half a teaspoon of haldi powder, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 Eno packet, then some water. This is for the fortni or the tadka. Taken 2 light green chilies, a few curry leaves, a little bit of coriander for garnish. Here I have half a teaspoon of mustard seeds, half a teaspoon of hing or asafoetida, and again 1 tablespoon of sugar. I have my steamer ready. I put some water inside the steamer and started to boil the water, and I've kept this kind of plate on top of it. And here I have just greased this pan with a little bit of oil, or brushed it with a little bit of oil. So let's start making this dhokla. So first I'm going to mix all the dry ingredients, that is the besan, the rava, the salt to taste, the sugar, the haldi or turmeric powder, and I'm going to mix everything well together. Now for the green chili paste, I've taken about 1 green chili and half an inch of ginger. Now I've added about 1 cup of water, and I've made this into a thin batter. Not a very runny batter, not a very thick batter. Just 1 cup of water for 1 cup of besan. Now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of oil. And again I'm going to mix everything well together. I'm going to add the lemon juice. Now I'm going to add my green chili and ginger paste. Mix that in well. And now my steamer is ready, and when I'm just ready to put the dhokla into the steamer, I'm going to add the Eno and I'm going to mix it up well till the mixture doubles in size. Then I'm going to pour everything into the plate or the greased dish, and I'm going to put it into the steamer. Now I've closed the steamer and I'm going to steam it for exactly 20 minutes. Now after 20 minutes you can see that it starts leaving the sides of the pan, and also if you insert a clean knife you'll get it very clean. So now we're going to transfer this dhokla onto a plate. First I'm just loosen the edges, and then I'm just going to cut them into square size pieces. And now I'm going to prepare my tadka or my fortni. So I've heated about 2 tablespoons of oil. In go my mustard seeds. When they begin to splutter, I'm going to fry the green chilies. Fry them really well. Once that is done, we're going to add in the hing or asafoetida, the curry leaves. Mix everything well together. Then we're going to add in the sugar, and we're going to add about half a cup of water. Now you can turn your gas off and just mix everything well. And now we're just going to pour this over our dhokla and then garnish it with some fresh coriander, and your dhokla is all ready to enjoy. Now first I've taken 1 cup of moong dal and 1 cup of rice. I've washed it thoroughly, and then I'm going to soak it for at least about 15 to 20 minutes and then pressure cook it for about 1 whistle on high and simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. Then you'll get this real mushy kind of dal and rice mixture. Now you could go with tur dal also. Now the other ingredients are, here I have about 5 to 6 cloves of garlic chopped finely, 1 inch of ginger chopped finely, 1 medium sized onion chopped finely, a few curry leaves, about half a cup of fresh coriander, Now this is optional, but this is a kanda lasoon masala. I'm just going to use about 1 teaspoon. Then I have half a teaspoon of haldi, 1 teaspoon of hinga, 1 teaspoon of rye, and 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. Some salt to taste and a little bit of lemon juice. And for the tadka, I'm going to use again about 2 to 3 chopped cloves of garlic as well as some dried red chilies. So here I've heated about 2 tablespoons, one and a half tablespoon of ghee or clarified butter. You can also go with oil. Now I'm going to just put in my mustard seeds and my cumin, and I'm just going to let the mustard seeds pop a bit. Then I'm going to add my curry leaves. Next goes in the chopped up garlic. Now I'm making this in my pressure cooker because I am going to again pressure cook it to get that lovely mushiness to the dal. And then I'm going to add the ginger. Now all ingredients with their exact measurements are in the description box below. Now we're going to fry all of this really well till all the rawness of the garlic and the ginger go away. Next I'm going to add the hinga or asafoetida. Next goes in the turmeric or the haldi. Next goes in just about a half a teaspoon of this kanda lasoon masala. Now this is easily available if you go to these masala stores, where they where they themselves make the masalas, the ground masalas, and sell them. Most of them, every market has one where they make their own home ground masala. So here you might have a chance of getting this kanda lasoon masala. And of course then I've added my onions, and I'm going to fry everything really well. Now if you don't have the kanda lasoon masala, you can just add maybe a pinch of garam masala. Now I'm going to add my mashed up dal and rice. So like I said, I've gone with moong dal, but you can also go with tur dal. It can be made with either of the two. Now this dal khichdi is really, it's so heartwarming, and it's like a real soul food, and it's just delicious. You have to make it if you haven't already. And then I'm going to add about a cup of water, because this is a very mushy kind of recipe. For those of you who know what risotto is, this is very similar to risotto in the sense of the consistency. You want that lovely warm and lovely soothing kind of meal, and that is dal khichdi. So now I'm going to add a little bit of salt to taste. And then I'm just going to pressure cook it for just 1 whistle on high, and then I'm going to just completely put the cooker off, and then I'm just going to mix up everything. After the cooker has cooled down, I'm going to just put it on a low heat for once, and now I'm going to be making the tadka. So now I've put the gas off completely off the khichdi, and now I've just taken about 1 tablespoon of ghee. Now, for this you really need to add ghee for the tadka, because that just adds this amazing flavor. Don't put oil, guys. Put ghee or clarified butter for the tadka. And now I'm just going to add about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, which I've chopped up very fine. And I'm going to add about 3 dried red chilies, which I've chopped up again. Let the red chilies and the garlic really fry well, and just pour it over this dal khichdi, and then garnish it with some coriander, and just mix everything well together. And then when you're going to be serving it, just drizzle a little bit of clarified butter or ghee again, which is completely optional, and some lovely lemon juice, and you're all set, guys. It's just heaven in a bowl. So I hope you try out this recipe. Do let me know in the comment section. I'm waiting to hear from you guys. But this is what I call soul food. So first I'm going to work on making the dough. So for that we're going to need 1 cup of flour or maida, half a cup of corn flour, 1/4 cup of clarified butter or ghee, some salt to taste, and water as needed to make a nice soft and firm dough. So now I'm going to add both the flours, that is the plain flour as well as the corn flour, to a bowl. Next, I'm going to add some salt to taste. I'm also going to add the ghee. And now with my fingers, I'm just going to rub the ghee into the flour really well so that we get, we coat each and every part of the flour with this ghee. So take your time with this and just crumble it as you go. And you should be able to hold it in a like this. It should all come together like this. You should be able to hold it like this. And now we're going to add a little water at a time and make a nice firm dough. Now I used about I think 3 or 4 tablespoons of water. And once our dough is formed, we're just going to add a few drops of ghee. And again, we're going to knead this dough really well. So take your time with this, about 4 to 5 minutes. Knead the dough because we want the dough to be really nice and elastic and easy to work with. Also, the prawn puffs will come out really crispy and crunchy if you really knead the dough well. And now you should just, if you press your fingers into it, you get this kind of a dent or a mark. And now we're just going to roll the dough up and keep it aside for at least 15 to 20 minutes minimum. So while the dough is resting, let's work on making the filling. Now for the filling, we need the following ingredients. Here I have 1 cup of fresh prawns which I've deveined, washed. This is 1 medium onion, chopped fine. 1/4 cup of fresh coriander leaves, chopped fine. 1 green chili, chopped fine. This is about 6 to 7 cloves of garlic, chopped fine. 1 inch of ginger, chopped fine. And 2 teaspoons of vinegar, or you can substitute it with lemon juice. This is 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder, half a teaspoon of pepper powder or miri powder, and 4 to 5 fresh curry leaves that I've just chopped up fine. We also will be requiring a little salt to taste. And so now we can start making our filling. So now in a pan, I've heated about 2 teaspoons of oil. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to first add the ginger, the garlic, the green chili, and I'm going to saute these 3 ingredients really well until the rawness of the ginger and the garlic goes away and the garlic turns a little bit brown. We're going to saute it. Then I'm going to add the onion. We're going to fry the onion also very well. So if you chop everything really nicely and finely, the filling really, comes to the perfect consistency. We don't want big pieces of ginger, garlic, and onion, because then when we are putting it into the dough, it does tend to, cause a problem. So better to cut it very fine. So now I'm going to add the turmeric powder, the pepper, and the curry leaves, and again saute everything really nicely for about 2 to 3 minutes till everything comes together really nicely. Now I'm going to add the prawns. Now if you want, you can even chop the prawns up into smaller bits. And now we're going to mix everything well. We want to fry the prawns and cook the prawns at this stage. So we'll fry the prawns really well. Now I'm using medium sized prawns, so I've cut them up into halves. You can also use the smaller prawns. And now when the prawns are cooked, they will actually curl up a bit and turn to a denser or a thicker white color. From a transparent color, they turn to a thicker whitish color. So we're going to saute all of this for 2 to 3 minutes. Now I'm just going to flavor it with some salt. Now I use Himalayan pink salt. It's it's good for health, and it is really nice. to use. So I'm going to now add the chopped up coriander. Mix everything really well together. Turn off the heat after you add the coriander. After you mix everything well. And you can see that the filling has now reduced in size because everything has come together really well. And now once the flame is turned off, I'm going to add the vinegar or the lemon juice. Whatever you like to add, you can add either vinegar or the lemon juice. So our filling is ready. I'm just going to transfer it to a bowl and let it cool completely. And now is the fun part. Once our mixture is nice and cool, all we have to do is make these beautiful prawn puffs. So now I'm going to make small balls out of the dough. Just roll them between the palm of your hands. This dough is so easy to work with. It's very elastic and really nice to work with. So now I've made balls. Again, I'm going to make them into halves, as you will see. Then I'm going to apply a little bit of oil onto my rolling surface. I'm not going to add any flour because then when you're frying it, the flour gets into the oil and becomes a big mess. So just apply a little bit of oil and then just roll it out into a small little circle, just like what you would do with nyoris or karanjis. And then I'm just going to place a little bit of the filling, say a teaspoon roughly. Don't overfill it and don't underfill it either. And then I'm just going to fold it over like this. Seal the edges by pressing it down. Then I'm just going to pick it up, press the edges, and then just seal them by making this particular pattern. Now I'm doing it this way because I find that the puffs get really well sealed and there's no chance of the filling coming out. But otherwise you can also cut them like you would with a nyori or a karanji using a cutter. But I found that this was much better. So in this way I made all the puffs. Now if you want to make more, you can always double or triple the quantity of all the ingredients, depending on how many you want to make. And you can shape them in whatever way you want. And just for fun, the last one I like to make it into this little ball or potli or pouch or whatever. I couldn't think of a name. If you can think of something, let me know in the comment section below. I couldn't think of a name, but it is so cute and I didn't want to waste any of the dough, so I just made this small thing. And then now all we have to do is just deep fry them till they're nice and golden brown in color. Now alternatively you could bake these also. So for that you'll have to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes and then put a baking paper onto the tray. Then just brush this with a little oil or butter or ghee and then bake them on both sides for about 5 to 7 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius. That's it. But somehow these fried ones are more crispier, more crunchier. And just fry them and then drain them off on some kitchen napkin to drain off the excess oil. And that's it, guys. These amazing prawn puffs are all ready. Now you can also make these and freeze them. I mean, before frying them, you can freeze them for about a week or so till you want to use them, or put them in a vacuum bag and then fry them whenever needed. And our lovely Goan prawn puffs are all ready. I can't wait to dig into them. Just dip them into some ketchup or any. As you can see, just 3 ingredients. Now here I'm taking about 1 cup of coconut milk. Now you can extract fresh coconut milk. I have just used some powder coconut and put it in some hot water. This is 3/4 of a cup of Goa chogri which I've grated. We're going to use a pinch of salt. This is about 1/2 cup of natsni flour or ragi flour, which is easily available, and it also has the husks because they grind it along with the husks, so that's much more healthier than rather soaking the natsani and then extracting the juice and then throwing away the husk. So this is easily available in any general store. Just ask them for ragi flour or natsani, and then we're going to use some water. Now here I have a pan, I have a whisk and a long wooden spoon. So let's just begin with today's very simple and very delicious and healthy recipe. So here I'm just going to add a little water at a time, and I'm going to make a paste. Now we don't want a very thick paste, but it should be a kind of a runny paste, but little on the thicker side. We don't want it to be very, very watery. So 2/2 cup of this natsani flour, I'm going to be adding about 3/4 of the cup of water. Whisk it well so that there are no lumps in the paste. Now once we finish whisking with this, we're just going to set it aside for about 5 to 10 minutes. We want a very smooth paste. Like this. So it just flows like a very thin dosa batter. Now we're going to add a pinch of salt to this natsani paste. Again, stir it in, and now keep it aside for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now we're going to add our grated jaggery to our coconut milk. And either we're using a spoon or a whisk, we're going to whisk it in. But I like to use my hands. So with my fingers, I can just crush all of the Goa jaggery into this coconut milk. That is the best way to ensure that all of the jaggery is nicely dissolved. Of course, ensure that your hands are clean. Now we did the same thing in the dal recipe, if you remember. For those of you who haven't seen my Goan dal recipe, I will leave a link for it below, and I will leave a link for all of the other Goan sweet recipes that I have uploaded on my channel. So now I'm going to put the heat on the pan on a very low to medium heat, and I'm going to add the coconut and jaggery mixture to the pan. And now I'm just going to stir the natsani or the ragi mixture as well and add it to the pan. Now we're just going to stir this for about 5 minutes on a low to medium flame till it becomes into a thick porridge consistency. We don't want to thicken it very much like how it was with the dodol, but we wanted to have a very, a kind of a porridge consistency. Now this tizan is given mostly to people who are a little bit anemic, or who are just getting well, or someone who's running a fever. And it's also given to small children as well as new moms, because this is very rich. Ragi or natsani is very rich in iron and calcium. So anyone who's anemic, or if you have a deficiency of iron, then you should incorporate natsani or ragi in some form in your diet. I also have a recipe for my natsani bhakri. I will link that also below. You can use, you go and check out that recipe. So these are the natural ways of increasing iron for those of you who have a deficiency of iron. So this is a very, very healthy porridge, and even small children are given this because it's easy for them to just swallow it. Of course, you shouldn't have this in too much of it, but in a moderate amount is good. So that's artisan already, and you can either have it piping hot or you can serve it